do something extreme.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and the highest honors to Yahweh, Hashem Yahushua, Hashem Yahushua, double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone that rule well. The salutations to you, few brothers that preach, teach, and prophesy this word in truth and sincerity. Put our lives on the line in these last days, bringing this raw and this uncut truth. You few brothers and sisters that may see this, the brother Ariaga from Grand Rapids, Michigan, here with another nifty lesson. Let's get into it. This might get the channel pulled. At this point, preaching all of these years, nobody really watches my videos anyway. So by the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, let's just go ahead and do it. Whatever they do, what they do with the page doesn't even matter to this point. Okay? What matters is getting the truth out. And this has definitely been a hot topic, these small hats or what have you. And trust and believe, everybody is just finding out, for the most part, that the devil's identity is definitely them. All right. So what I want to get at is that these small hats have been the talk of the town lately, especially because of the situation over in the Middle East with Iran. Even before that, Epstein files, everything, right? The son of perdition being revealed is a heavy scripture, a second Thessalonians, because we're in the midst of that right now. So regardless of the circumstances, like I said, hey, y'all Bashim, y'all Shai, let his will be done. I'll put this up on BitChute as well. You know what I'm saying? The reality of the situation is we don't give a damn no more. Man. We stopped caring a while back. Why?
I'm about to show you.
Because now that everybody else is finding out the truth, it's no big deal to us. Heavenly Father already put the spirit on us to reveal these things through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So do what you real with it. But in reality, everybody's finding out who's who. That the stuff that we are saying, or the according to the law, statutes, and commandments in the Bible, we are them. They are not. And now it's sinking in. And it's little things like this that continue to help you understand. Because they'll, like, let's say the DNA test, and now the DNA test being outlawed in Israel, one of the things that they do not do is take the bones, just take the bones, sample cells of any of the bones of anybody from that land originally, right? Let's say they go to the tomb, let's say they found King Solomon's resting place, or let's say they found somebody from the ancient world's resting place, right? All they have to do is take the DNA of that individual or those individuals, because they can take it from multiple ones, right? As long as they're around that same era, in the biblical era at that time, right? And test it with the people of that land. And the results will vary greatly, because those, as even their own people have revealed, are not the individuals that belong in that land. So this is what this video and this show is about. Okay, because all we're doing is just saying, hey, they're saying it. The small hats themselves are saying it. Okay? You can't, hey, you can look a prize horse in the mouth, but you're not going to understand one thing unless the Heavenly Father open your understanding to comprehend it. All right. Now, floodgates been open for a lot of people. Let's get into it.
I'm about to show you something extremely controversial. It's even illegal in the state of Israel to obtain this. And if you do obtain it, it's illegal to show it and or talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, my DNA. Now, I bet you thought it was going to be a lot crazier than that, right? Now you might ask yourself, why is it illegal to obtain this in the state of Israel? Because it proves through your DNA that Jews around the world have no ancestral ties to the land of Israel. Because it proves through your DNA that Jews around the world have no ancestral ties to the land of Israel.
We Jews have been in the land of Israel since the times of biblical Joshua.
Who is we? No, really, who is we? You live in Israel, so I don't expect you to be able to provide genetic or ancestral receipts for your claims about us Jews, because those kinds of receipts are illegal in Israel without a court order and other special permissions. The Jerusalem Post explains such a thing cannot exist as kits sold directly to the public, going on to say that they have possible effects on subjects and their families. Furthermore, the national implications of these tests could hold or affect, nice grammar, Jerusalem Post, could hold or affect with Israel being a government-recognized Jewish state. Don't you just love when they say the quiet parts out loud? But since they won't let you get receipts for us Jews, I brought my own. Wow. So I, an Ashkenazi, have no genetic or ancestral ties to the region of historic Palestine. I, an Ashkenazi, have no and yet Israel still claims it's my homeland, which I could move to and become a citizen of under the ironically named Law of Return.
Have you heard of the Kuzali?
Yeah, that's us. That's me, actually.
Okay, so what is your, this is a question that comes from outside of Israel. What is your opinion about the theory that Ashkenazim came from Kuzali?
It seems relevant. It's quite obvious that white Jewish people of Ashkenazi from Europe are not genetically, as much as I can tell, I'm not an expert, but they don't look the same like Arab Jews, people that came from Arab countries, and Ethiopians. I don't think there's a lot of, there may be some genetic relations, but there's a lot of genetic differences. And any theory that says that we're not genetically come from the same ancestors makes sense to me.
Yep. It dims the brakes. And that's so when we say these things, understand this. First of all, free use, all right? Fair use, excuse me, I said free use. Fair use, fair use. And understand this. This is them. He's saying this about his own people. So it's not some kind of propaganda on the side of the Hebrew Israelites or what have you. We didn't orchestrate this. This is what they're saying is wrong with their community right now. Okay? Because a lot of their people are going around and they don't even understand who they are. If this man is plugged in, the Most High has him juiced in. He understands the origin. They're really Khazarian. Okay? That's all. It's just a fact, man. Don't get mad and shit. It's just a fact. It's nothing else. Just a fact. I'm telling on yourself. Matter of fact. Let's see.
What is your opinion about?
Hold on. Let me do this. It says Psalm 64:8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. All right. So now you see there's a lot of these whistleblowers. That's why they're coming out with these new laws against people, telling the truth, and they have a problem with that. Esau, he doesn't like the truth. Okay. They love to live these lies. That's why here in America, you can, live the American dream. You got to be delusional and asleep to do so. You can be whatever you want. They got the pronouns. You can be whatever you, identify as. It's delusional. And you have a lot of these Edomites that come out and they'll be like, no, this is all bullshit. It's all some screwed up game and we know about it. And what you see is small hats are telling on their own selves. They've been doing this for a while. Okay? We've seen this. So why? It doesn't make any matter up until this point right now. Because before then, they were telling you who they were in the forefront, but it took all this evidence, Epstein files, and for them to keep telling you to your face multiple times with the Epstein files, and then it took this situation with World War III sprouting over there in the Middle East for people to start taking it serious. But it's too late. All right, reality is striking. You have a lot of people that are astonished, afraid. That's what it really was, hidden behind was fear, because they was fearing what if this is true. We will press the Edomite, the Israelites
Easier than that.
so bad. We would press them as the people so goddamn bad. Like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. What's gonna happen next? If that's true, and what if them saying that they're the Israelites and Esau going into slavery and we're the Edomites? What if all this stuff is true? It makes them consider, and they start losing sleep at night. Because I would hate to be an Edomite, dog. I think Most High, Wadi Yahweh Shemi Shai, that I am an Israelite. That's a blessing. That's a privilege. And I'm grateful for that. As you can see, they want to be us so bad, dog. I mean, let's keep going. Just telling on themselves.
Let's list a Jewish teenager from the U.S. recently traveled to Israel, and what he discovered about his ancestry challenged his long-held beliefs.
I will never forget the first time I went to Israel and I stepped off the plane, and the first thing that anyone said to me was, "Welcome home." I wasn't told welcome home because my ancestors were from Israel. I was told welcome home because I'm Jewish. Every single person who's Jewish that steps off the plane, especially for their first time in Israel, is told welcome home. Let's just sit with that for a second.
So to unravel the mystery behind his background, this guy takes a DNA test. And guess what? Turns out he's 88% Ashkenazi Jewish, tracing his roots all the way back to Eastern Europe. This shakes up the whole idea that being Jewish is all about Israel.
This right here, this is my actual ancestry. I am 88% Ashkenazi Jewish, and none of my ancestors are from the Middle East. The land that is called Israel now is not my home. It's not my ancestors' home. It's Palestinian.
So in Israel, there is this law that makes it a bit tricky to just go out and buy a DNA ancestry test. It's not like you can't do it at all, or that's what they say. But you need a special permission from a court to get one. Why? Well, as they say, it's mostly because there's a worry that if people start digging into their genetics, it might stir up some drama in families, or mess with how people understand their heritage. Now, there's also this thing where some folks, especially Ashkenazi Jews, have used DNA tests to prove their Jewish roots. This is super important for those who want to move to Israel under the law of return, which basically says if you're Jewish, you can't come live in Israel. But this whole using DNA to prove you're Jewish has got people talking. Some are cool with it, others not so much, because it's a pretty sensitive topic. So yeah, that's the deal. It's not a total no-no, but there are some hoops to jump through if you want to get your DNA ancestry checked out in Israel. And we all know why this is a thing only in Israel, and it's not common for countries to require a court order for DNA testing.
There it is. I mean, this young man found out the reality of the situation. All you got to do is the research. A lot of people just they get emotional about it. They get emotional, especially when it's concerning the truth and it's not in their favor. And they buck up against it. That's what they do. But the reality of the situation, yes, we are the so-called of the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native race are the true 12 tribes of Israel. And those that say they are Jews and are not in that land right now are Amalek descent, or they're also, so you say, Khazarian descent. That's it. Nothing to see here, folks. Plenty to see here, really. But it's just every nation has a biblical name. Let's continue on this trend real quick.
State of Israel to obtain this. And if you do obtain it, it's illegal to show it and or talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, my DNA. Now, I bet you thought it was going to be.
So, let me explain something. What they do is the Jewish people go by the ethnicity of their mothers. Wrong. That's wrong, nigga. Okay? You do not determine what your ethnicity is by your mother's chromosomes. You do not. It goes by the father's chromosomes. He possesses the seed. That seed determines your nationality, not the egg. Okay? This is all of this shit that you can be a percentage of this and animal. What the fuck are you? Are you a humongulus? That's why I create you in the lab. You have features of your mother, but you are what your father is. That's why people are diverse, because sometimes, you got an Asian dude, a black man, and an Asian woman, a Blasian, you know what I'm saying? And they have children, you know what I'm saying? It still go back to that black man being the one that was the head of that gene, because his father was so-called black man. Therefore, the children will always be that. So all this shit about percentages and shit like that, I mean, it's retarded, to be honest with you. Let's investigate that real quick. Okay. This is how, according to the Bible, this is how we determine the nationality of, I couldn't see that. This is how we determine the nationality of our people, man. Okay. Okay. All right. This is Numbers 441, 144. This is Numbers. This is the first chapter of Numbers. This is Numbers 1 and 2. Take ye the sum of all congregation of the children of all the congregation of the children of Israel, after their families, by the house of their fathers, not by the mother. They determine their households by their mother, and that's when they bring in all of this bullshit about percentages and shit. Okay, and it's stupid. The shit is stupid. You cannot be a percentage of something, because at the end of the day, your bloodline is by your father. Okay? It says, and with 4, and with you there shall be a man in every tribe, every one head of the house of his fathers. Okay? And then they took down the names of each of the men. Where the women's names at? It did not hold any substantial relevancy, because it was established by the household of their fathers. All this dumb shit about percentages and shit, like this is calculus or some dumb shit. It's just
a lot crazier than that, right? Now you might ask yourself, why is it illegal to obtain this in the state of Israel? Because it proves through your DNA that Jews around the world have no ancestral ties to the land of Israel. But according to Israeli law, the fact that I have Jewish blood gives me more right to somebody's home and land in the land of Palestine than somebody that has been there for hundreds of years. Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. Hey, that tongue is falling upon them. You know, that which happens in the dark is going to come into the light, you know. And the reality is that y'all not them guys, man. You cannot, Jewish is not a race. You can, it's a religion. You can't determine a race by religion. Jewish. Ish means like or pertaining to. So you a Jew or you Jewish? I'm a Jew. Then why you call yourself Jewish? I'm a Jew that's Jewish. But your DNA proves that you're not even from the land. Ashkenazi Jew, which made you European, which will make you a convert. Keep going.
This field 8 years ago.
Let's listen to.
Let's get down and dirty.
Why is it illegal?
Let's go so far as to see this part. I do want to show this because this is very relevant. When I saw this footage, I was like, damn, I'm showing y'all my shit. I ain't got shit to hide. Look.
This is Jerusalem in 1925. Why do you think the leader said, how are you guys Jews if you guys left black but came back white? How'd you leave black but came back white? This is Jerusalem in 1925.
And now, mind you, some of these are Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and natives, but the majority of those are just, this is 1925. Our land was just filled with Arabs and Hamites, you know, primarily. So a lot of those, you know, but the point in being, you know, y'all still can't be the original people if in 1925 and all the way until, 70 AD when we was pushed out the land and we fled, right? The last of it was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. They fled the land, you know. Destruction of Jerusalem. We scattered. The diaspora took place in the four corners of the globe. This was still there before y'all. So how can you be people that you say you are? Just saying, man. Y'all asking the question yourselves, man. We just following up on it. You know what I'm saying? We'll keep going. Now look at the reaction. Now, what Tucker Carlson said, well, let's show you a couple more of these clowns.
Jews shouldn't care about DNA tests, and here's why. There are two ways to determine if someone is Jewish, whether his mother is Jewish or he converted to Judaism. If someone converted to Judaism, he essentially gets a new soul, a soul of a Jewish person. According to our tradition, all the souls of the converts were with us at Mount Sinai. So even if you converted yesterday, now you're 100% Jewish. A famous example is Ruth the Moabite, the great-grandmother of King David. In Judaism, national identity is according to the mother, and tribal identity is according to the father. That's why Abraham makes sure that Isaac gets married with a Hebrew woman from Haran. That's why Jacob goes all the way to Haran to get married with Rachel and Leah. That's why Rebecca is so upset with Esau for getting married with local women. There is Deuteronomy 7, which is still on for now. Your father will determine your tribal identity, a Levi or a Judah, Ashkenazi or Sephardic. Follow for more.
What did you say?
There is with Esau for getting married with local women. There is Deuteronomy 7, which is still on for now. Your father will determine your tribal identity, a Levi or a Judah, Ashkenazi or Sephardic. Follow for more.
Yeah, exactly. Your father will determine your lineage. Once again, they tongue falling upon themselves. We say a broken clock is right 2 times a day, right?
These DNA tests for ethnicity, you have something called
There is a Jewish name.
bottom of the page.
Let's listen. A Jewish teenager.
8 years ago, I did a DNA test because I was curious what my DNA was. Now, my mom is Jewish, my dad is not, and on the Jewish side of my family, every single person ever has married someone Jewish until my mom. So I knew on my mom's side, it was going to be something like 50% Jewish. I knew that was going to be for a fact. My dad's side, I wasn't really sure what it was going to be because my dad's family has been in America since like the 1600s. So I got my results back, and obviously it was something like 50% Ashkenazi Jewish. But my dad's results were something like 30% French and German, 20% British and Irish, and then a bunch of other random stuff. That was 8 years ago. I just got an email that my results have been updated. And I was like, what? I haven't checked my DNA results in a long time. So I just logged in, and you're not going to believe this. Before I show you these results, I just need to share for anyone that doesn't know. I lived in England for...
How in the fuck did they update your results? Oh, we just found some more shit. We just found out you even mixed with all kind of other people and shit too, you know? So you just a mud, you know, you got all kind of shit. We just found some more. You'll come back like a week later, a couple months later. Oh yeah, we updated what you are. What the fuck? What you gonna, it's gonna update again? You just keep what you mutating and shit. You know, it's crazy.
7 years by myself. I moved there for university. I ended up staying because I loved it. I have no family in England. I just always had this calling, like I needed to go to England. I didn't know anyone there. I ended up making the most amazing friends and people that became like family to me. But yeah, this is my updated result. Okay, so obviously we have the almost 50% Ashkenazi Jewish. But hold on, 45% English? 45% English? Also gotta love the 2% Scottish. You're telling me I lived in England for 7 years and I didn't know I was nearly half English? I was on either student visas or work visas my entire time there. I feel like there's a passport in there somewhere. I feel like I can try to finesse some. I know they're no longer part of the...
Alright, bitch, shut up. Stupid. It's dumb shit. She getting caught up in this identity percentages shit. Now, let's put an end to that real quick.
A Jewish teenager. Let's listen.
Bottom of the page.
There is a Jewish name in
Jewish.
Abrams descent.
These DNA tests for ethnicity are entertainment value only. William Gilliland is a biology professor at Paul.
When I handed the certificate, she got extremely emotional about it. She wept. And it meant so very much.
People want to believe.
They want to believe they've gotten an answer.
And it's unfair of us to let them believe that we're giving them certain answers because scientifically, we just can't.
Hank Greeley is concerned that the science isn't really there yet for you to be giving them the name of a tribe.
I think for most companies, I would be concerned too.
But what about your own company? He didn't exclude you. He included you.
But we have the largest set of sequences from Africa. So with that, we're able to provide some level of probability in terms of frequency.
But he would say that even though you have the largest database, it's still small. And the scope of things.
As I said, I share those concerns.
About yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the rub. This business of genetic genealogy is fraught with limitations. For one thing, it can only provide information about a tiny fraction of our ancestry. Because we get half our DNA from our mothers and half from our fathers, almost all of our DNA gets shuffled and remixed every generation, making it impossible to trace what comes from whom. There are just 2 bits of DNA that remain pure. The Y chromosome, which passes directly from father to son, and something called mitochondrial DNA, which passes unchanged from mother to child. Hank Greeley, a law professor at Stanford University, has studied this new field. He worries that people don't realize just how many ancestors they actually have.
8 generations ago, both you and I had 256 great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents.
Wait, you're saying that if you go back 8 generations, we have 256 great-great-great-grandparents?
Yes, doubles every generation. So you get 2 parents. You have 4 grandparents. You have 8 great-grandparents. 16 great-great-grandparents. And it adds up fast. It adds up so fast, in fact, that if you go back 20 generations, you've got over 1 million grandparents.
1,048,576 to be exact. And in each generation, DNA testing can provide information about only 2 of them.
So you could be Peruvian on your mother's side, Japanese on your father's side, Swedish on everything else,
And you'll never
know the Swedish or the Y chromosome or the mitochondrial DNA.
Now, you've looked at several of these companies that are doing these tests. Do you think that they explain what you just explained to us?
No, I don't think any of them does as good a job of pointing out.
No, they don't. Let's see, this is why this shit is a joke. A joke. And these people really get excited about finding out their percentage of something. Okay. Now I got multiple videos. I'm gonna have to break that up in a 2-part series. Like I said, they're gonna strike the pay. They're gonna do whatever they want to do. You know, at this point, we don't care. We don't care. Do Stephen A. Smith on your ass now. Right here.
Abram's descendants are the ones who have the right to have this land, correct? Yes. Okay. Why don't we do genetic testing on everybody in the land and find out who Abram's descendants are? It's really simple. We've cracked the human genome. We can do that. Why don't we do that?
I'm about to show you something extremely controversial. It's even illegal in
Now you seen that part. But I want to go back to what Tucker Carlson is saying. Because he hit the nail on the head, right?
Doing that?
I have
No idea what
that
would prove. I mean, maybe it would be. What would prove who Abram's descendants are and who has a right to live here and who doesn't, according to the theology that you yourself just explained. And so I'm very confused as to why we don't do that. If you believe the theology that you've just explained to me, would we do that all over the world? And this is the only country in the world that you've said has this covenant with God, that this people have a moral and legal right to the land. And so, if you believe that, wouldn't you want to know with a burning passion who those people are? And because of science, we can now know who those people are. So why aren't we finding out? I think they're the Jews, and we know who they are because they've always been a Jewish people. There has been an unbroken line of Jewish people, and they've lived in this land for 3,800 years. Sometimes not very many of them, because they were chased out all over the world. They were hunted down. They were almost annihilated during the Holocaust. They came back. How do we know they're the same people?
Right.
No, why is that crazy? If you say to me, if they speak the same language, if they worship the same God, if they follow the same Bible, if they follow the same cultures and traditions, and they always pray next year in Jerusalem, and they pray for the peace of Jerusalem, and they pray facing toward Jerusalem, does that not give you a little bit of a clue as to who they are? Let's just go through those things, okay? So one of the things I admire most about Israel is they resurrected the dead language in 1948. Good for them. There's no genealogy linking their families to the...
No, what he's talking about is Yiddish. Let's see something real quick. What Tucker Carlson putting it on him. Let's see that real quick. YIDDISH. Yeah, let's see. Tucker Carlson is cooking. Around the 10th and 11th century, Rhine Valley of Germany. So it says Yiddish. All right, this is what they speak now. The Hebrew that they're talking about is Yiddish. All right, it was established around the 10th and 11th century, approximately 950 to 1000 CE. Rhine Valley, Germany, as a fusion of Hebrew, Aramaic, Romance language, and German dialect. It developed as Ashkenazi Jews settled in the region. Is the oldest surviving literary document, a blessing with worms, Mozart dating it, whatever. 12. But the point of it is that why you had this, you resurrected a language, right? And they mixed it. They mixed Paleo Hebrew with the European languages that they originally spoke because they are converts. Point blank, period. They are converts. They are not the original people of that land. End of discussion. Period.
People of this land 3,000 years ago. They're not. So how do we know, since they didn't share a language, they didn't share a religion, they had no religion whatsoever, how do we know that they had a right to come here from Eastern Europe but they were scattered land. They were scattered. They were scattered all over the world. There were many in Ethiopia. They were in Russia. They were in Poland. They were throughout Asia. Jews were all over the place, but they were still Jews. But they were still Jews. We had people from Europe, Eastern Europe came here. In a lot of cases, atheists. And kicked out a lot of people. They bought land. Well, but they did not just throw people. They bought a lot of land. There's no question about buying a lot of land. But they also, in the anxiety movement, kicked out a lot of people. And the war. It was a war. I agree. I'm not one way to negate the history. I'm just saying it's a fact. Okay. Abram's descendants are the ones who have the right to have this land.
Yeah, I got to see that whole episode. Tucker confronts Mike Huckabee. I mean, god damn, he was cooking them, dog. You know, Tucker Carlson ain't been the same since he walked past the Apostles of Great Millstone in New York one day, man. You know, I remember that years ago. You know, the Apostles was talking about that. And, you know, they had the video footage too. I remember that. But nonetheless, this is Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and to worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. So it says, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Reality is coming out, you know. 2 Thessalonians 2:4. Who opposes? 2:3. Excuse me. 2 Thessalonians 2:3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall come, except there. 2 Thessalonians 2:3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. The son of perdition is Esau, Edom, especially starting with Amalek. These elites, you know, they're the heads of Edom. It says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High. They want you to worship them. These elites want you to worship them. That's why they're bringing in that mark of the beast, because they want to cause everybody around the world to fall. To get that mark, you basically, you know, acknowledging them as your God. Okay? So when they make that mandatory, if you get that mark of the beast, that RFID microchip, you are acknowledging them as your God. And we serve a jealous God, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and niggas, the 12 tribes of Israel. It says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, and that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. And that these elites want you to worship them. Period. These 1% elites want you to worship them. Okay? And those 1% elites are made up of these small hats, man. These Edomites. Okay? This is John 10:10. The thief cometh not, but to steal, kill, and destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. And that's Yahushua coming for who? For the 12 tribes of Israel, for the Israelites, man. All right, because hey, the thief, who was the thief? Esau, Edom. How did they get this land and all the lands that they coming out? They stole it, and that's another lesson we'll be doing at the camp. Going into how they taking these Jake houses now, taking Jake out they houses and stuff, tricking them out of their leases. These small hats. This is Malachi. No, let's go up a little bit. This is Hebrews. Oh, Habakkuk. I said Hebrews. This is Habakkuk. Nope. Yep. Okay, let's go in order. Micah 2:1. Says, woe to them that devise iniquity and that work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, it says they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. They do whatever they want to. The Epstein files is a primary example of that. All right, because they as soon as they wake up, they on demon time. They in their bed, they laying with children, dog. They laying with little children, man. And they practice it because it's in the power of their hands. They doing what they want to do. These elites sick fucks, and they covet fields and take them by violence and houses and take them away, so that they oppress a man in his heritage, even a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. It says, all right, so that's what you see what's going on. They've been doing that. They had a history of doing it. And they do it because they have these tactics. One of them is they use this DNA theory. All right, it says, therefore, thus saith Yahweh Shem Shai, behold, against this family do I devise evil. Who? Edomites. From which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, proudly, for this time is evil. What does evil mean? It means bad time, dark time. It says, in that day shall one take up a parable against you, and lament with a doleful lamentation, and say, we be utterly spoiled. He has changed the portion of my people. How hath he removed it from me? Turning away, he has divided our fields. How did he divide our fields? Because he took our land. He claimed our lands as his own. What does it say right here? And I'm going to get this last scripture right now. And then we're going to do a part 2 next time. So, like I say, because at this point, let them do what they do. T-A-R, bastard. This is Zechariah 9:6. It says, a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. Okay? And let's see what Ashdod is. A bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, right? Look this up in the interlinear real quick and we'll get up out of here. What is Ashdod? Oops. No, hold on just a minute. Bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. Alright. My bad, I pressed the wrong thing. Bastard shall dwell in Ashdod.
Strong's H795. Ashdod. Ashdod.
It says a major Philistine city in the Mediterranean Sea west from Jerusalem. Alright, so that basically what became portions of our land. Alright. They are dwelling there now. Who is a bastard? Let's check that out. Yeah, bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, right? A bastard mixed population. In other words, not the original inhabitants. So original, a born Jewish father and heathen mother. That's bullshit. All right, C is completely incorrect. All right, it don't have shit to do with that. It's the other way around. It's when a mother and a heathen father and a Jew, not Jewish, a Jew mother. So a so-called white man and a black woman, that would make that child a bastard because it's an Edomite, but it looks like a Jake. Mixed population, bastard. So they dwelling in our lands. The Lord said, a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. And this is why they don't want to do that DNA test. This is just part one. Like I said, let them do as they will with this. I pray you will edify. All right. So until the next time, I bid you shalom.